We ask a veteran in the community to come to join us to tell us about their time in the service. And today, we are very honored to have Jim Plumb, a longtime resident of Carroll Stream. And some of you may remember him during his long term as road commissioner for Bloomingdale Township. And he served in the Army during the Vietnam War era, and he will tell us a little bit about his time in the service. Mr. Plumb, thank you for joining us today, and thank you for the service.
This is just a little bit of old history. Oh. I thought you might enjoy that one. Yeah. Why did I join the service? I have no idea. Seriously, I was 18. My dad, I was number 3 of 7. And my older brother and sister moved back in, and my dad said, "Hey, Jim, yeah, you're 18, aren't you?" "Yeah, time to go." Well, I didn't have anything really going. I was afraid if I got a good job, I'd get drafted, have to leave it. So I enlisted. That was in '67. Never thought about Vietnam. It wasn't anything. Guys before me were going to Europe, Korea, Japan, all over the United States. So I thought, hey, I'm safe, you know. Didn't turn out that way. Went to Fort Polk, Louisiana, Tigerland, infantry training. So we got mixed up in the push, and they were sending a number of troops over. So they amassed us after AIT at Fort Lewis, Washington. And we sat there for 6 weeks training, and then we shipped. Well, we were supposed to go by boat. Wasn't my thrill. But then they decided they needed us so fast, they got a flock of jets to haul us out. We were there in 2 days. I got to refer to my notes. Memory's going with the age. I ended up with the 1st of the 22nd 4th Infantry. We were stationed up in Pleiku and Kontum Province, Corps 2 area. I was given a machine gun when I got off the plane. I had an hour's training on it before I got there. I was ready. I had a 5-man gun crew, including myself. I was the gunner. I had 3 ammo bearers and an assistant. We all carried a minimum of 500 rounds of machine gun. They carried their weapon ammo on top of it, supplies, claymores, grenades, etc. About 125 pounds or better. I carried the gun, 600 rounds. Gun weighed 35. Somebody told me it was about 9 pounds per 100, so I carried 700 rounds, in addition to all the other gear. It was brutal. But I met a lot of interesting people from all walks of life, all education levels, most of them were draftees, very few enlistees. But we got along. We had to. So I was there about 8 months, 9 months. Excuse me. I got hit. And we were going up a mountain. And that was our job. We worked the borders. And I got nailed. It happens. I zigged instead of zagged. I got hit. So we were high in the mountains. No LZ, so the boys chopped one out for me so I could get out. And I got hit around lunch. Chopper came in, medevac to get me out. he had to lower the basket down like they did, because there was no LZ. So, they got me in a basket. I was in and out of consciousness. I'm going up. Bullets are flying all over. It's getting dark. Chopper has to stay until he gets you up. He can't go. And I was in there. I gave the guys down in the LZ a thumbs up. Saw the muzzle flashes across the ridge. I gave them a different one, since that's all I had. I had no weapon. I couldn't do anything. So that's the story of that. From there, they shipped me over to get me into a hospital, Pleiku, where they performed surgery. Took a chunk of steel out about half the size of my fist, busted ribs, collapsed lung, all that good stuff. But I survived, went to Japan. Japan's very nice when you fly over it and fly back. I was there momentarily. Got stateside, spent a few more months in the hospital, rehab, etc., and was stationed various locations throughout the United States at different posts for the rest of my time. I gave the Mr. Geezer a little article that my mother, God bless her, she was a wonderful lady, but she hit the panic button. So instead of having the Army send a telegram, when I was able, I jotted a little note in pencil and said, yeah, I got hurt, I'm home, I'll be coming home, etc. And she hit the panic button, as usual. So she finally got a hold of the Red Cross, and I was in Japan in a hospital there, getting better, and they just put me on a chopper. I was headed home. So I'm in a stretcher, and they put me in the chopper, and they take me off the chopper. I'm headed home now. This is it. I'm going to be stateside soon. You got a phone call. Who the hell would call me in Japan? Who? Who do you think? My mother. After she got through chewing me out for not giving her more detail, like I knew exactly what happened. I am a medic, almost. I should have been a doctor. So, John Justin Smith was with the Daily News at the time. So he called, introduced himself. I could care less. I just want to go home. And then my mom's on, and he asked me what happened. I tried to tell him. And he wrote his description. It's not mine. But it was on Mother's Day, 68. Front page of the Daily Herald. And that's what I gave a copy up here to the mayor and such. And that's my big claim to fame. And it's just been that way. What did I learn? Well, I was 18 when I got in. I was a puppy. Had more responsibility than I needed. Turned 19, got shot at. That was a fun day too. But I learned a lot from the guys, the service, leadership. Keep your mouth shut and listen. You don't know a thing until I tell you. That was one of the deals. But I had some great guys with me. Some didn't come home, which we know. And just me being here is an honor. I've never spoke of this before. So I got the shakes. But that's pretty much my story. I got out of the service and went to work for Mr. Barnes, who was the highway commissioner here for Bloomingdale Township, general super. Worked for him for 24 years, Bloomingdale Township Highway Commissioner for 16. I retired in 2012, and my blood pressure went down 40 points. And if you have any questions, I'll be free to try and answer to my best ability.
Well, first off, I just want to say thank you, and we're very honored that you chose to share your story with us, and thank you very much. Thank you very much. Anyone on the board?
I think, thank you for serving both in the military and then coming back and taking care of the road district too.
Well, thank
I know
you.
you pretty well, Jim, and it is an honor for you to be here.
Well, I've been around all you gentlemen and ladies for a number of years, so most of the people here on the board and such know me, but didn't know that much about me. I'm known as by a lot of names, and not all of them are very nice.
Well, I'm from the same era. I wasn't in Vietnam, and I want to thank you for your service. But to share that story with us was very important because I have some of my best friends will not talk about anything that happened while they were there. All they want to do is forget, because what you had to come home to is a Travis, that was worse than being shot. When Benson tells us the story about being spit on and spit at, take off your uniform, it makes me sick to think that. But thank you for sharing. Thank you for your service. And I did get to work with you through some of the floods and some of the bad times. And I want to thank you for everything that you've done for this village. Personally, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, board. On a note that he struck on, we got spit on. We used to change. The restrooms in an airplane aren't big enough sometimes, so the stewardesses would just kind of turn their backs while we got changed in the back of the plane into civvies. Our haircuts gave us away. We still had problems, but not too many. One little quick story. I was with Sergeant E6, walking through O'Hare, coming back here to visit my girlfriend. And this guy walks up to us, and he said something and spit on him, and he dropped him like a bad habit right there. And we just kept going. But it was bad coming home, no doubt about it. Any other questions?
No, just thank you very much for your service.
And Jim, I just want to say thank you. Before I even knew that your story, you touched my son's life, because I knew you as Luke's grandfather before I knew your story. And you've touched my son's life. Obviously, our families have intersected together personally, but thank you so much for everything that you've done. Your story actually inspires many, many in the next generation to come. So thank you so much for everything.
Thank you very much for the time. I appreciate it, and I learned a lot in the military. More men should go in to get the discipline and the game plan down, but it's hard. It's really hard. Anyway, good night. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Jim, and thank you for the questions. Many of you see Jim every year at the VFW Memorial Day outing at Memorial Park. We do every year. He's there and very active in the VFW, which is they are also active helping us to raise money for the renovation of Memorial Park. So if anyone wants information on that, they can contact me here through the village. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Trustee Geezer. Another fine job of bringing another good person in to speak to us.